Hi, everybody. Welcome. This is actually our first Heart Wisdom panel of 2021. Whew! Who was it, Deb? Were you the one saying that we'll probably actually start the new year in February because of everything?
Well, I actually started in December. So we're just skipping January and then we're going to reboot again next month because sometimes that's what you have to do.
Sometimes that's what you have to do. And yeah, so we were just sharing a few uplifting moments before everybody was here, which actually was really, really perfect for me. I loved that and seeing all your faces today. And so officially, for people who'll be watching the replay, I'm Sherry Richert Belul, author of Say It Now, 33 Creative Ways to Say I Love You to the Most Important People in Your Life. And today we have Deb. Hi, Deb.
And I am so happy to be here. Thank you.
Yay. And G. Brian, I should say, to keep it official.
Hello.
And I'll have you guys introduce yourselves in just a minute. But first, I just wanted to say thank you both for being here and for being our guests. And thank you to those of you who are here and to people who will be watching the replay. And yeah, so why don't we start? Deb, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and your book and anything else you want to do as an introduction?
Okay, well, I'm Deborah Eckerling. I'm the author of Your Goal Guide, a roadmap for setting, planning, and achieving your goals. And my book birthday is tomorrow. And it's so hard to believe that a year ago now I was planning in real life speaking and promoting events, but it's such a blessing because my book is all about helping people figure out what they want and how to get it, or how to reroute your life when change happens. And who knew 2 months later, change would happen to everybody. So what else? So this is me. I'm also the founder of the Deb Method, which is my system for helping people figure out what they want and how to get it, determine your mission, explore your options, brainstorm your path. And I just really like helping people live the life they deserve, which I do through workshops, coaching, and online support.
Yay. Yeah, thank goodness, right? Thank goodness. Your book came on the scene exactly at the right time.
Who knew?
And so, thank you. I know I say this to you all the time, but also so appreciative of your effervescent and bubbly personality and the joy you bring. Thank you.
Ditto, thank you.
Hey, Mr. G. Brian.
Hello, Sherry. So yeah, my name's G. Brian Benson, and I wrote Habits for Success. It's been out like 2 years now, but I'd like to think it's kind of an evergreen book. And I've written some other books. I act. I love to create positive content in a lot of different ways, whether it's a spoken word video or a short film or you name it. I'm really blessed. I've got a small part in a TV show just launching here any day now, so that'll be kind of fun.
Yay!
Yeah, it's not the me that you're used to, the part. So that might be fun for some of you to see. But yeah, it's called Sangre Negra, meaning black blood in Spanish. And Eric Estrada is in the show, and Eric Roberts, and a few other people that have been famous in the past.
When does it come out? When can we see
it? You can watch episode 1 right now, I think on Amazon, but it's also on a new free streaming service called Tubi, Tubi. And I just watched the first episode a couple nights ago. I'd already seen it, but they made a few tweaks, and it's fun. I mean, it'll be. I'm in episode 2, so FYI. But yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
So, but yeah, I love to just create positive content to help inspire other people, just to kind of reach inside and kind of maybe inspire, empower, and motivate them to see what lies inside of them, that might bring them fulfillment and happiness. And because all the things that I'm doing really were a surprise for me. And so it's been kind of a fun journey. So I just try to live by example.
I love that. And you do, and I love that you also share your content in so many different ways, it's really fun. And I just wanted to insert something right here, which is, as you guys may know, we were scheduled to meet last week with our 2 wonderful authors. And because of all of the unrest and everything going on, we rescheduled to today. And I know that things are still, we were all talking before everybody got here, that, this has kind of been a rocky start to the new year. And yet here we are, right? Here we are, and we have two like really amazing authors. And I think that, you know, when we were talking beforehand, Brian brought something that I think is probably going to be the right thing to just start us off with today. Is that okay? You feel like jumping in with your poem right now?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think we kind of decided, you know, a lot of us are in transition now, and I think a lot of us are processing all that has happened the last year and the last week and the last, you know, whatever. And it's kind of whether the virus or whatever it's been that has kind of forced us to maybe deal with some stuff or look in the mirror. And I think it's really important to just kind of try to find our grounding and solidify our foundation again. And so this is in the book. It is a poem I wrote called Your Voice. And I think it's appropriate for right now. Your voice creates a ripple over land and well beyond. Truthful words vibrate lifted to create a loving bond. Your voice can be your freedom, or your voice can be your hell. Mindful heed and word and thought send forth love and light to gel. Your voice can give permission to another seeking truth. Authentic centered living taps into eternal youth. Your voice can be the difference to set a young child free. Loving words to encourage, a model for them to be. Your voice is your ready key to unlock your truthful worth. Spoken pure, life now renewed, energized, loving, rebirth. Your voice gives inspiration for those afraid to speak. Reassuring tone shared true helps others gain their peak. Your voice is a kindred link when spoken face to face. True connection, eyes unite before texting took its place. Your voice is your true freedom when it's spoken from the heart. Intuition's guiding path helps you play your destined part. And your voice is fundamental for all life and love to flow, empowered, valued, perfect, painting a worldly glow. So yeah, I just really want to remind everybody, just, you know, let's just get our foundation solid, and thank you. And let's just remember what we're capable of, because it's easy to kind of feel less than right now in a lot of different ways, and maybe lose our confidence.
You know what else I love about, first of all, thank you so much for sharing that, thinking ahead to bring us something that you knew would, you know, start us off with that bit of foundation. But also I love just the repetition of your voice, and remembering, and thank you for that reminder of, for us all to be really conscious of what we're saying right now, you know, who we're being and how we're showing up. I thought that was just such a beautiful reminder, and such a great place to start, right?
Thanks.
Yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to say about that, you know, that sense of the foundation right now?
No, you know, I mean, I think I'm going through a big transition myself. You know, I moved out of LA a few months ago. I needed to recharge my batteries. And, you know, I went through a health experience this last year on top of everything else. And so it's been really nice. I needed to kind of step away for a little bit and let my intuition kind of begin to bubble again, because sometimes when it's tough, you know, when things are rough, it's kind of hard sometimes to hear it. And so I needed to step back, and things are good. You know, I as I told some of you on the call before, I just purchased a used RV, and my goal is to drive around the US this year and work on another book and create some other kind of fun, cool content, while at the same time, I feel like it'll be a really healing experience for me. And so I'm going to probably be on the road in a couple months. So who knows, maybe I'll visit a city near you.
Yeah, come see all of us.
Yeah.
But I do love this. I mean, we had built this as, you know, goals and healthy habits. And, you know, what could be more healthy than starting with that place of assessing what we need and where we are and how can we hear ourselves, which is, I think, what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think we have to take care of ourselves first, right? And it kind of starts with self-awareness, you know, as I'm sure Deborah will talk about and is totally on board with. But that's what I've learned for myself. Yeah.
Oh, hi, Brenda. I saw you down there. Welcome. Yay. So yeah, so Deb, let's head over to you and have you jump in wherever you want to jump in.
Well, I want to jump in saying this is like the perfect pairing, Brian and I.
Yeah.
Not only was Brian was my first Mango friend beyond Brenda, because right after I came on board, Brenda sent an email out to the LA Mangoes, and Brian was the first person who reached out to me. Brian showed up at, I believe it was June, you remember when we used to meet people in real life?
Yeah.
And that was the first time that we had met, and Brian surprised me at my book signing in February. So I just love that we get to share this energy. And on top of it, you're going on a road trip, which is, my book is a road trip. So we're just like multiple like this. So I just had to, I am so pleased for you, because I know how important it's been for you to reset and figure out next, and that you're working on this and planning and looking forward is just beautiful. So I'm thrilled for you, my friend, and I'm thrilled that we get to like jump off the year together with such wonderful people, with of course Sherry at the helm.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And I do love, like, we couldn't have planned this better, right? The whole idea of the trip, right? And the pre-trip. And then, you know, Deb, I think you could maybe tell us a little bit more. Like, yeah, so what about when we start off? Here it is, it's a new year. We're all sort of still reeling, right, from everything.
Do you think? Yes.
How do we set off on this trip of ours with all of this baggage to keep the metaphor going?
Well, and I was looking, and I'll read later. I was looking through the passages of the book because I was going to change what I was going to read, and I said, nah, I'm sticking with the Deb, yay rah, move forward. But I do talk about detours and roadblocks in my book, and sometimes when you have these roadblocks, and like we're all living this massive roadblock, sometimes the choice to like be still and take care of ourselves, sometimes that's the only choice. And you can't kick yourself for not being ready. And that's another thing that I learned. I talked about how my book came out 2 months before the pandemic and everybody needed to reset. People are still resetting. You know, we've had little bursts over the summer and then in the fall, and now it feels like, okay, we're beginning of the year when we should be all racing forward. We're still rocked by what's going on in the world, and it's okay if you know, if there are things you can do, you know, and give yourself moments where you're working towards your future. I think that's very important, because really the only thing we have control over is us, and our future starts with us. So we need to, I'm going to put it into a tip, of course, acknowledging that, you know, when you are ready, or even if you're not, if you spend some time playing with your dreams, thinking about your future, wondering what is a Goaltopia, word I made up for my book. It's living the life you want, achieving your goals. What is Goaltopia? Because sometimes even just a little glimpse of that future, the one that you want, that you're going to work towards, it's going to make all the difference, because it's not going to be like this forever, thankfully. And for now, just self-care, introduce good into our lives, but think about, what do you want? And even just little bits of working towards it is really going to help you. So when you're ready, you can just start running. And achieving goals, achieving that life is all about setting the groundwork, having nice introspection time to figure out what that is and making the plan. And then when you can move forward.
You know what I love so much as you were saying that, Deb, is for me, that moment of dreaming or visualizing or thinking about the future or thinking about my life, I get like this sense of peace and calm, even amidst everything going on. And I think that there's something really valuable, like that is a part of self-care. Dreaming is a part of self-care. I think. I'd love to hear what you guys think about that.
Yeah, you know what I want to do, I have to step back. When she reminded me, when she said something, but it's so like what she was talking about and kind of what I was talking about, it's so important to get grounded so we live proactively instead of reactively, because it's really easy to live reactively right now in a lot of different ways, because we're getting triggered in different ways, and the virus and things being closed down is triggering us, or you know, bringing up other stuff. And so the more that we can do the self-care thing, the more proactive I think that we'll be. So, okay. So in regards to your question, what was your question again? I thought it was so important.
First of all, thank you. That was really important what you said. That was really important. And what I was asking you guys is, in my experience, I feel as if dreaming is a part of self-care.
Yes.
That when I'm not dreaming, there's something where I start to slip downhill. But I was just curious if you two had anything to say.
I feel like it helps us stay optimistic and positive, and it gives us we need to have hope. When we don't have hope, man, everything just, it's tough. And I know a lot of people aren't feeling very hopeful right now because of just whatever. So with that being said, I think dreaming and focusing and visualizing is important on many levels. One, just to kind of try to hopefully manifest and create the life you want to live, but also just to kind of keep your vibration up.
I absolutely agree. And the first chapter in my book is visualization. Mm-hmm. So the first half of your goal guide is the DEV method, and the D in the DEV method is determine your mission. And to get what you want, you need to know what you want, and that starts with that visualization, that dream state. And I think, especially now, anything is possible. We've proven we can live life and exist from where we live, and we have extra time because we're not necessarily driving to a job, commuting, going to events. We've got this bonus time. So why not use a little or a lot to dream of that future, that hope? That's like the best 4-letter word, because that's what it's like. Yes, it will be better. You need to know that and have that hope thing, and planning for that future is such an important part of it.
Yeah. Hey, Deb, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I guess I
do it.
I always
you don't want to. That's not true. Go ahead.
I was just thinking it'd be so nice if we could all close our eyes for a couple minutes and just have a tiny taste of visualizing. Is there something we could do in like just a minute or two that would help us tap into something?
Well, of course. And there's a lot of my book is based on brainstorming and writing prompts, but I think when you visualize, think about just what is the first thing that pops into your head. Say anything is possible. What is that life that you want? How do you see your future happy self? And so let's do that, and then I'm going to give you homework as the next step. So
okay.
When you think about the life you want, what does that look like? And I'd like to see some smiling. We have some, go back and watch this, because some of you have just wonderful, peaceful looks on your faces, which is wonderful. So in the next step, the homework that I promised you, I know you're so excited, is to take a few minutes later on today and create a visual representation of what that looks like. And for Brian, it might just be him in his RV traveling, or the star of his own TV show. So there's like a little clip starring G. Brian Benson. What is that thing that's going to really, and we can cycle, and this is why I start with, determine your mission, visualize the life you want, because it can manifest itself in different ways. So what is one aspect of this life that you're working towards that you can put into a picture, go old school and look through a magazine and paste your face on something, or go online and say, okay, I want to be on the top X out of X list for X magazine, and get their list and put your face and your name at number one. So create some sort of thing. And yes, of course I do this, that has that visualization, because a big part of achieving your goals is knowing what you want and seeing it, that it's possible. So make what it looks like possible, law of attraction. and I always say there are a few things that you should have on your goal map accessible, and one of it is this visualization, your goals, which I'm sure we'll talk about more, your motto, what is driving you, what gets you going. Because if you have a mission behind what you're doing, whether it is to inform, inspire, entertain, educate, or you want to create something that helps other people, all the above, whatever your mission is, if it helps others, it gives it so much extra fuel. So you should know, and I've repeated it a couple times, my mission is to help people figure out what they want and how to get it. And then from there to go to a motto, and my motto is goal setting simplified. So the way my mission is manifested, it is helping people in simple ways so they can figure out what those things are. So if you have your visualization, your mission, your motto, and I'll give you one more, your future bio, what you want your bio to say a year from now, a couple years, maybe a few months from now, things that you can look at to kind of keep that hope alive and keep you moving forward toward that ideal destination that you so desire.
Oh, Deb, thank you for all of that. That was really great. And it makes me curious if anybody wants to share, if anything, did you have anything drop in? And was there anything that was sort of in that, picture quality that you'd be willing to share? I think it'd be fun to hear if anybody does.
What's yours, Sherry?
I did actually have something drop in, which is two things that are kind of symbolic for me. One is an orange fat tired bike with a basket, and it's always got books in the basket, and I'm always riding, with a fun hat. And it's just that feeling of being comfortable in my skin and having a purpose in life that I see that all in the bike. So I'm going to find a picture of that orange bike.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
How about you, Brian? Did one drop in for you?
No, I don't, not nothing new necessarily. I mean, I just, I feel like it's hard to explain. I've been like in this cocoon for like the 3 months I've been up in Oregon. It's rainy and cloudy here and cold. And I came out, I needed to just step back, and it's fine. It's perfect. And, from LA to this little tiny Mayberry town, and I'm not complaining. It's just that things have been on kind of a hold while I've just kind of recharged. And I'm one that's kind of might do it a little bit differently. I mean, I do get visualizations and intuitive hits about things, and I kind of let them guide me instead of maybe sometimes proactively coming up with something to move toward. It's hard to explain. But with that being said, I know intuitively I'm supposed to take this trip. And so I've just, as I told you today, just found hopefully a solid used RV to purchase. And it's been hard because they're hard to come by these days. Everybody's wanting to hit the road. But I'm just going to kind of let that experience unfold. Now, with that being said, I have positive thoughts attached to it. Not like, I'm going to be changing tires the whole time or having to have it in the shop. But I'm going to, just my goal is to have really amazing experiences and document them in different ways. And, I'm going to be doing little podcasts with interesting people I meet along the way and kind of try to share their stories. And I have another book idea where it's kind of a memoir where I tie the trip in along with some stuff in the past and kind of have them go back and forth. And, you know, just hopefully it'll be a really, I'm looking forward to just having fun and letting, and just leading with that.
That's
Because
a
I put a lot of
beautiful
pressure.
vision.
Thank you. I put a lot of pressure on myself in the past, and things have worked out. However, I wasn't always enjoying the experience. And so this go around, I'm going to continue to create, but I'm making it a point to really let just fun and joy kind of drive the bus.
Or the RV, as it
Or
were.
the RV, that's fun, yes.
See, if I were you, Brian, and I am not, but I think just a poster with the word fun or joy or some, you'll never do this. But
Well, I know what is. No, I'm not discounting that. I mean, I've been blessed. I've manifested a lot of stuff in my life, and I just know what works for me. And if I know I'm going to be fine. And so that in and of itself kind of gets me there. So my main thing is I just really just try to keep my vibration up and just try to have fun and just really be true to myself. And that usually gets me across the finish line. And it's a little different this time because, but I just know that I need to do it for me. And I had another thought I was going to say, but I forgot. Sorry. No, but I mean, I've also had little smaller goals that I've been very, you know, that has worked for me that way too. But yeah, there's many ways to get there.
that is the exact point. That is completely the point. And I think especially now, what I was saying before, there have been plenty of roadblocks, but it doesn't mean you can't get where you want to go.
Oh,
you
right.
just have to keep going.
Absolutely. Oh, for sure. I totally agree. And luckily, I've kind of had a positive, optimistic outlook my whole life, even though, I mean, I've had to go through a lot just like everybody else, but yet, yeah, I just, once I kind of have an idea what I'm supposed to be doing or what direction I'm supposed to head, then it's just kind of like, all right, let's go, let's step into it. And I was blessed, you know, right when I left my family business 12 years ago and kind of got on this path, I was stepping out of my comfort zone a lot of different ways into things I had never done before. And that kind of gave me the confidence and courage now that, you know, I'll be all right. And so that's huge, you know, and not everybody's there because they haven't kind of maybe gotten through that initial hurdle.
Yeah.
But it's possible. It's doable. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And so luckily I just have some muscle memory and emotional memory of having stepped through safely and landed. And so yeah, but everybody can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And with Deb's a little bit more honed way of doing it. And I think a lot of people need that, you know, and I have at times too, but just where I'm at now.
Yeah, I love this. And I do think that you two are perfect to have together because, you know, you come from some different places, but it's all sort of headed in the same kind of direction.
Absolutely.
And I love that. And again, I'm curious, I'd love to open it up to those of you who are here because we'd love to hear from you as always. Like, is anything coming up for you? Are you in any place for yourself? Marlena, I just saw you unmute.
Deb, it's great to see you. And yeah, the combination is wonderful of you and G. Brian. So G. Brian, I'm in Oregon and it's a brilliantly sunny day, I'll have you know.
I'm in Silverton right now. It's sunny here too, thank God. Yeah.
Yes, it's a gorgeous day in January in Oregon. Your poem spoke to me so hugely. I think that we often don't think about the power of our voice and to be very mindful of how we use our voice. I'm wondering, is it posted somewhere? Is it published? I would love to share it with people who I know would love it as much as I did. And I'm wondering, is it, do you have it published or posted somewhere?
Well, thank you for the kind words. Yeah, I mean, it's I know what's in my latest Mango book.
Good answer.
That's a great answer. Go buy the book.
Well, I'm not trying to do that. I mean, it's habitsforsuccessbook.com, but I'm trying to think where else it is. I have on YouTube, I did a video of it.
It's beautiful.
If you go to my website, the video's there too, gbrianbenson.com.
Hey, G. Brian, could we post in the comments with the replay, could we post the link to that video that has it or the poem itself?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I'll check in with you, but it'd be nice, you know, we could do that.
Yeah.
No, but I love your first answer. Just go buy the book.
No,
I love that.
I want you to access it however you want to
that.
access it. It's all fine by me.
It's beautiful. It's powerful.
Thanks.
Marlena, did you want to share anything more about for you, like where you are at the start of 2021 and anything that?
Of course, yeah. No, I spent a career teaching strategic management, and so goal setting and strategizing and visualizing has been a part of my life all along. But for me right now, it's most important for me to cherish the moment. And really be in the moment. And I sort of sense, G. Brian, that you're a bit in that place as well, that being in the moment allows you to move forward as well. So I think that all of our future orientation, we want to also couple with staying very much in the present and knowing that this moment is what we have. And
absolutely. And I think there was a part of me before where I was, creating a lot of stuff, bam, bam, bam. And I think in some ways, I'm proud of everything that happened, but in some ways it was just another way for me to try and find that validation outside of myself. Because I would say, what's next? What's next? And I feel like I know where things are headed and still do. It's just that whenever I release something, I'd say, is this thing's going to spring me? And then I would be depressed for a while, even though I just created this really cool, amazing thing. And so now I guess my self-worthiness has caught up with me. And so I'm just like you said, just trying to be in the present moment, enjoy life. And I know that everything else will be fine. And we can only do so much as far as who's going to read or see our stuff. The main thing is just to enjoy the process and just really be proud of it and let it go. And
Amen.
and it took me forever to learn that. And I'm bummed because I didn't enjoy as much of the ride as I could have. But
luckily, you get more chances to enjoy your things.
Right?
Yay.
Yes. Amen. No, it's all good. It's all perfect. It's all the way it's supposed to be. No regrets. No regrets.
And I love that. Was that Marlena? Did you just say what's next? What's next? Or maybe it was Brian, but in my spirit,
she was just saying in the present moment.
Yeah. Well, in my spiritual community, we'll say what now? What now? To kind of just bring us into, this moment. Because, and I love this conversation today, right? Because there's always this sort of balancing of, looking to the future and visualizing the future and also being planted fully here right now, because this is what we have. And I love this conversation because we're kind of getting led to look at all of it, right?
The thing that I find myself saying a lot, I was going to say a lot lately, but I think it's more like a lot. The challenge so many people have with achieving their goals is they underthink them or they overthink them, but they don't take the time to figure out these fundamental things. What will make me happy? Or if you're happy, what can make me happier? What are my gifts and how can I express that to the world? They do things that were expected. Oh my goodness, how many people have I talked to who said, I did this job because this was the job that I thought that I was supposed to have. And now, no job, what's next? And to treat the time where you figure out what's next, what's now, whatever phrase we want to use. But it's so important to treat the time where you're doing that introspection with such respect. So you have to treat yourself with the same respect, your appointments with yourself where you're doing this work, as you would a meeting with a client or a boss or anybody, because if we value us, that's a statement too, right? So it starts with you and giving yourself the gift of time to figure these things out, and then you can blossom into the world. So there you go.
I agree, absolutely. And something that just popped into my head too is I think we as humans like to try to control things way too much. And I was no different. And that effed up my situation. Initially, when I just got onto this journey 12 years ago and let kind of magic guide me and just like, whoa, this is new, this is empowering, this is scary, but it's giving me confidence. After about 3 or 4 or 5 years of that, I started trying to control it too much. And I lost my spark a little bit. And so I think it's so important. There's just this blending of like being proactive and focused on where you want to go and with setting goals or what have you, but also taking your foot off the gas pedal a little bit and just seeing what might show up and let kind of the magic happen as well. Because believe me, if we try to control too much, it just kills the joy. And I think this is going to sound woo-woo. It's almost like spirit kind of might hold something back from us because we're wanting it too much and we're holding on to it too tightly. And so now I'm just trying to do a little bit of everything. You know what I mean? Have fun, enjoy the ride, visualize, take the steps and procedures to get there, yet take the pressure off.
Well, isn't that a love is letting go of fear thing? When you give up control, you gain control.
Yeah, no, I have to think about that. But yeah, no, I think essentially, yeah. It's a trust. It's another, right? I mean, it's
The T word works.
trusting in
well.
the process. Trusting in the process. Yeah.
Oh, well, I have something, and I know I've shared this before. So if you've heard this story, too bad. No. Oh, I have been leading goal setting groups and talking about goal setting and in this vibe for years, speaking workshops, coaching, what have you. And I was doing it all under Write On Online, which is my website and community for writers, creatives, and entrepreneurs. And almost exactly 3 years ago, my primary communications client went away, and I said, okay, this is a sign to fully invest in myself, in the me that I want to share with the world. And what happened? I rebranded myself as the Deb Method. I re-met an agent who I had met 7 years ago who knew, and my book found its way to Mango at the end, and Brenda at the end of 2018. And when I think about all the things that had to happen for my book to come out 2 months before the world changed, right?
Wow.
So when I say I'm blessed, I know. and of course I have to give the blessings and thanks to Brenda as well, because she's like nodding, yep, Deb, yes. So
Absolutely.
thank you.
Yeah.
That leads me to a question.
Do tell us, Brenda, what's your question?
Okay. Well, it's stuck in my mind that we had to meet today instead of a week ago today because of what happened in Washington, D.C. And I don't want to go there, but like what it made me think of is that seems so chaotic, crazily chaotic, and it is, but the world is always chaotic. There's always going to be things that have to be navigated. And so what is the way to, instead of reacting and freaking out and getting emotional and angry, what is the way to like look at that and then like move through it and even get the lesson from it and take the lesson and move forward positively? That's my question.
You want to start, Brian?
Sure. Well, hello, Brenda. That's such a great question. I think the more that we can just become calm within ourselves, everything else just kind of maybe, I don't know, that's what works for me. I mean, I get triggered occasionally as well, but I just try to kind of stay away from, stay away from stuff that I don't feel is higher vibrational. And obviously, unfortunately, there's just a lot of it's not very, I don't know, I just don't find it to be truthful or truth. I mean, you know, I think this is I'm going way woo woo. I believe in reincarnation, and we're here to learn and grow. And this is just an experience that's kind of helping us in, you know, in our own growth experiences. And so, I mean, if I kind of think about it like in those terms, it helps me just kind of just be relaxed in what is happening. And I do ultimately also feel, even though there's it's a shit show right now, eventually stuff has to break before it gets better. And so in my mind, that helps me kind of come to a little bit more peace with everything. It's just stuff is going through growing pains, and things are being tweaked right now. And I don't know if I did a very good job of answering your question, but
no. The thing that really resonated with me, what you said, is the vibration, because that is like some of the lowest vibration I think we've ever witnessed. And you're right, it is our sort of job as spiritual beings, as evolved people, to like keep it up, not just for yourself, but like you know, for the people around us.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fearful energy out there, and it's going to affect us. And you know, there's fear and there's love. And so the more that we can just focus on staying around or thinking about or instituting positive influences into our lives, I think that makes a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me want to like just be doing more random acts of kindness. Like, I mean, that's my reaction, is like, okay, like now's the time for like ferocious kindness.
Yeah.
I love that, what you guys are saying, because it's the same for me. You know, I keep using the phrase like it's a call to love. It's a call to love. Like we have, you know, those of us who can, you know, those of us who have the energy and the ability to as much as we can counteract, just like you guys are saying, counteract that with kindness, with love, with compassion, you know. Yeah, Deb, what about you?
Not engage.
Oh.
It's not easy, but I try not to engage. I mean, you see it on social media. It's, you know, we see our friends and our family members, and it's like, oh man, really? But I just keep putting out positive stuff.
That's a wonderful, that's a wonderful thing to do. It's needed. I have to admit, I had a tiny little fantasy that like, as you're traveling around in your RV, that you do a YouTube that's just like, you know, high vibration, good news, positivity.
Thank you. No, I don't know. You must,
Project.
I don't know if you came on. Well, no, I don't know if you came on after I mentioned it, but one of my things is either through Patreon or somewhere, show, you know, all the places I'm going, but also interview and do podcasts for really cool, interesting people.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, yeah. Perfect. Okay.
And I have another book idea too. So yeah.
I think of YouTube though. I think that like, I mean, you're so good on that, you know, you would be so good on that medium. I know it. So roll that around in your mind, because there's something there. I can feel it.
Thank you. Now it's Deborah's turn. What's your answer?
Oh, wait, I have to follow that.
Yes.
Okay. Well, because there is so much we can't control right now, really the only thing we can control is ourselves. And I'm all with the woo-woo, and we have control over ourselves and the positive energy. I had a rule which I've been breaking a lot lately, which is, you know, 2 minutes of stress at a time, 2 minutes of news at a time, and then I get to go back to being me. Lately, it's been a little bit more challenging because I want to stay informed. But one thing we can do, I'm going from woo-woo to practical now, is find 5 minutes, 10 minutes of time. I remember last Wednesday, I had one project that I had a deadline for, an article I had to write, and I literally worked on it in 10-minute increments all day long, because that's what I could focus. And at the end of the day, I had a win. Oh, that's the other thing. So the end of the day, I had a win. So even though there was all this chaos, I had something measurable that I accomplished in spite of the chaos. And I'm digressing to the other thing because this is true too. Count your wins. Find things. I did this exercise in October, and I'm going to do it again soon, where every day I posted a win on social media. And a couple times my wins were food. And one time it was I survived the week, but mostly it was just looking for, I had this great conversation or this great meeting, or I turned in this article or whatever, or I had this great interview. So to look for the joy in your day and like sit with it, track it, say, you know what, even though there's all that, I'm still able to do this and bring good upon the world, fulfilling my mission, and yay, raw, go me.
Oh, I love that. And to add to what you just said, Deb, I have a practice first thing in the morning of reaching out to at least one, but usually at least, several people that I know or I love, or to start the day with. To me, that's a win, to send out some love, to send out some connection. And when I do it first thing, it's like, that's right. You're starting with a win, starting or like what Brenda was saying, starting with an act of kindness. It sets the tone of the day rather than starting with the news, for instance, which would be a whole different tone.
Oh yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And I think we talked about this when you were on my Gold Chat Live about the look for the things, the good that you could do, and celebrate everything, because even though it's rough, there's still plenty to celebrate. We're here, we're creating, we're meeting, we're spreading joy and love, and they're all things that are so important. We just have to hang on to the good and spread more of that good. And something else that I think is really important is, in this time when there's a very blurred lines between work and life, is to give yourself lines between work and life. This is when you start the work. This is when you take breaks. This is when you end the day. And yes, I know it's not realistic. We're writers. We're always thinking, but give yourself, like, schedule cutoff times. I don't care if it's 10 o'clock at night, which is, by the way, too late, but give yourself cutoff times at the end of the day where you just decompress and breathe, and then you could start fresh the next day.
Yay. And you know what else people can do is read.
Read
Books. I've just been, I just, for me, that's my cutoff, right? I know when I go in, out of my studio and whatever book is on the table, and right, I know all of us here, we know that, like, the beauty of each other's words and other people's words. And so I'm curious if anybody else who's here. Oh, Linda, I just saw your hand go up.
I kind of wanted to go back to Brenda's question and the way, because I've been pondering that today, how to show up in the world right now. And I was working on an email that I send out every week this morning and reflecting on what a difference a week makes. And I started to sort of dig down into that, what a difference a day makes, what a different a moment makes, what difference. And the key to it became, we can't control everything that's going to happen today. And the only thing I can control in this moment is my reaction. And so the key to what a difference a moment makes is the difference I can make in that moment. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I have to focus on, is the difference that I can make in that moment. And right now, because of all the anger and the fear and all of this that's everywhere, including in myself, I have to keep asking myself this question of, how do I find that balance between letting it motivate me to work for change, as opposed to letting it change me? I don't want to let it change me. I want it to be that engine that drives me to help work for something positive or a better day or whatever it is. So really, that's what I've been focusing on, is how do I, in this moment, make a difference that's positive and allow those things that are frustrating me or upsetting me to help me make better choices about how to contribute to something better.
I feel called to say that I know Kim Colgrove has good wisdom.
Oh, Brenda, I don't know if I do or not.
You do. Well, I mean, how to you work with people that have to respond to crisis, like, and be super present every moment, and like, then like, what do they do with that?
They're in it right now too. So I work with frontline workers, first responders and veterans, and they're in it. So, you know, my topic is mindfulness, and I just focus on and use every aspect of mindfulness available. And I just suggest those skills and tools to everybody, including my own adult children who are having a hard time, and then the people that I work with. So as I was listening to Brian and then to Deb, I thought, well, for me, it's really both, because I loved the visualization exercise. I do vision boards myself, and I've always used visualization, and I use daydreaming as a tool for creating, manifesting what I want. And so I thought that is one of the main things that I talk to people that I work with, these frontline workers, is training yourself fully into the present moment so that you can train yourself to respond to whatever's happening over reacting. And that applies to my 20-year-old who's a sophomore in college, and to my friends that are riding in ambulances every night, and, you know, police officers, and even to just take that breath and train yourself. When I initiate that deep, full breath, that's my sign, that's my symbol to get myself fully into this moment. And so to tie this all together, what I was saying about Brian and Deb is I love the idea of projecting into the future, seeing that future the way you want it to be. But I also know the importance of the moment, that future is always going to be created in this moment. And then also what a diffuser or a de-stressor this powerful now moment is, which it sounds like Brian is really has worked himself into a place where he just exists almost entirely in the here and now. So, you know, I mean, you know, I'm never going to say anything different than educate yourselves about mindfulness and just apply it however it works best for you, because it is a superpower. You know, when you really learn to work it however it works best for you. There's no one path, you know, to mindfulness as a life skill.
Wow, you did have something powerful to say, Kim.
Thank you. Can I say one thing really quick?
Of course.
That was great, Kim, and you reminded me, and actually I think I put the story in my book. 24 years ago, I was working at a boys treatment ranch, and it was a really rough place. I mean, we had to break up fights almost every day, and they'd be in these exclusionary rooms, and we had to hold the doors shut because they couldn't be locked for California law, but they would spit, they would cuss, they would just, you name it, just barrage us. And one time I was just doing that, and I don't know where I came up with this thing, but I just started saying to myself, oh God, all of a sudden I'm forgetting it. I am love, I spread love, and I'm surrounded by love. And it helped me just kind of like get away from the negativity and just kind of sink into that. And I think in some ways, maybe it even helped the kids too. But I got into the habit of doing that when there was a lot of funkiness going on and negativity. And I still pull it out every once in a while. I am love, I spread love, I'm surrounded by love. And it helped me stay in the present moment.
And it goes back to what we were talking about, control. You can control yourself, the way you react, the way you refresh, the way you recharge, the way you approach. And even with all the nutty things going on, that power is just so important. And once you know you have it's like a superpower, then you're golden-ish.
Hey, Deb, I know you brought something to read too. Do we have the time? Does it feel like the right time?
You know, I did bring something to read, but it's basically yay rah, post your goals, look at them, turn them into reality. Because I don't want to take us out of this space, but that's basically what I was going to read. And the other thing which has been echoed, you can do it. You have that power. So claim that power and move forward.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So, Brenda started something back in the fall that it feels to me like this might be a good time to do, which is to do a little popcorning around. You don't have to say anything if you don't want to, but going back to how we opened this circle today, which was Brian's poem about boys. And it just seems to me like, is there something that you want to voice in this moment, how you want to use your voice with us in this circle? And if you don't want to, you don't have to, you could just popcorn to the next person. But
Brian, if I can do something very practical,
yes.
I just wanted to make sure that everybody saw that you can be inspired by Deb Eckerling this Friday at a Women's National Book Association panel, and it's free, and there's a link, and do come, because like we get so much feedback about how people get fired up and re-inspired and try new things, and just I feel like these opportunities, like these virtual panels, and then the sort of classes and workshops we're doing as well, are a way to be in community too. So you can learn, get new ideas, but also like expand your community. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knew about that. It'll be great.
It's gonna be, thank you. It's gonna be so much fun. It's like, it is like the funnest time you'll ever have at a workshop.
Marlena did a great one a couple of weeks ago with Nita, and we'll have to like lure her back with some kind of wonderful writerly. But like, if any of you guys have ideas for that, like to do those classes, like just email me, because like it's a pleasure to like sort of see how we can, spread the good word about your good work.
Thank you. And Debbie put the link in our chat, so if anybody wants to find out more.
Thank you.
Yeah. So how about Brian? Do you want to start us off if there's just a word or a few words you want to say to leave us with?
Well, just I always say the same thing. Just remember that you're enough. Just being who you are and what you have to work with.
That's great. That's
Happy New Year.
Now you get to choose the next person is how the game gets played.
Well, I'll tag Deborah.
Well, I thank you, my friend. I'm actually going to play off what Brenda said, which is there's so much power in community. And a common theme of something I talk about all the time is you cannot reach your goals alone. You need your people. And even if your goal is to maintain this happy disposition, you're going to get that from your people. So continue to have good conversations, meet new people. If you meet someone at one of these conversations that you want to have a deeper conversation with, reach out, because these are your people. We are here for each other, and just keep doing. And if we're not already connected, please connect with me. I will put beyond everything else my LinkedIn and the chat as well. And thank you all so much for having me here. It's been wonderful.
You get to choose the next person.
Oh, and I'm going to choose Kim, who we're Facebook friends, but we've never had a conversation before, and we're like this. So Kim, over to you.
Why, thank you. I'll just throw out the word compassion. It's something I've been thinking about a lot lately. And I'll just say that beneath anger is always fear and pain. So it is really difficult sometimes to find compassion for people that you strongly disagree with, but sometimes it can be more of a gift to us to at least try and find some shred of compassion.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, I'm gonna go to Linda.
Oh, well, first offer gratitude. I'm so glad to be that these panels are happening again this year, to have that energy and the joy that comes from that. Thank you, and the connection. I would say in terms of voice that I will just be focusing on how I'm using it and where I'm speaking from. If I'm speaking from that fear, if I'm speaking from love, and noticing the difference in how it feels and the impact that it has. So I'll pass to Shelby.
Hi, yeah, just to kind of echo, I'm just so grateful for these panels in general, and especially today. Honestly, I didn't even make a New Year's resolution this year. I haven't made any goals, and I think a big part of that is just kind of exhaustion and a little bit of loss of hope, if I'm being honest. But this panel was, which I knew it would be. This is just exactly what I needed, and just to thank Deborah and G. Brian and Sherry for always leading us through this. Yeah, just thank you. This is exactly what I needed, and I will visualize what I want, and I will make some goals, and I will live in the moment. I wrote lots of notes so I won't forget. So just thank you for everyone here. This is just exactly what I needed. Debbie, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Thank you. And echoing Shelby, I really loved this panel, and it was inspiring and motivating and calming all at the same time. So thank you for that. And I'm going to focus on my voice and how I use it, which is often through the written word by virtue of my job. And also in my free time, I write fiction stories. So I also have some goals with that for the new year. So that was fun to visualize. So, and I'm just going to try to be as compassionate, like Kim said, as I can with myself and others. So thank you. And I choose Victoria.
Hi again. Thank you so much. I think this panel was exactly what I needed, especially for like the beginning of the year. Like Shelby said, there was a moment in my life where I stopped having New Year's resolutions because I'm like, what's the point? I know that sounds horrible and very morbid, but then there was something that I read one time that it was something along the lines of like, it was better to have dreamed a dream than to not have dreamt it at all. Like, even if you don't, I guess, physically make that dream come true, it's still like, you know, in a way, the journey of just dreaming of something, it gives you like hope and excitement and stuff like that. So I think the one word that I would take from this panel is dream. And I think that it was really nice to hear that. And I think I'm going to, especially now with, you know, kind of losing hope a little bit too, if I'm being honest, just kind of move forward with that and remember that, you know, it's free and it's not harmful to dream, whether it comes true or not. So that's what I'm going to leave off with. And then I'm going to pass it to Brenda.
Okay. Well, I get to absorb, soak in, learn a lot of wisdom from the authors I work with. And so many of you are here. And I had acquired a book that has, it's like it's co-authored, and one of the authors is Thich Nhat Hanh, which is quite wonderful. And so just this week, I got the writings from him, and boy, the timing couldn't have been better, because Thich Nhat Hanh, as we know, like, you know, he was growing up in the Vietnam War and was already a young monk, and some of his fellow monks were very political, and they were going to the capital there in Vietnam and immolating themselves and protesting. And so he survived all that and like grew, I think, in his wisdom from that. And he's just so, I don't even know how to express it, but like his wisdom is just stunning and profound. And so I thought of all the weeks for me to be reading Thich Nhat Hanh. So I wanted to share two with you. One is what we think we're going to title the book. So maybe you can sort of respond. Your response can let us know if this is a good title. It's Go Slowly, Breathe, and Smile. Okay. And then, oh dear, I think I lost it. And this other one, like, I have to say that, like, I mean, hopefully this is what people will do with the book too, but like, it's sort of like I lay it open and just leave that there and then reflect upon it and then come back and reflect upon it again. And the one that I'm not going to find, but I pretty much remember it. And it was that our lives are the vehicle through which we experience truth.
Ooh.
Yes. So Thich Nhat Hanh laying it down right in time for me. And I just wanted to share his wisdom with you guys and pass to Sherry.
Ah, wow. Thank you. And wow, all of this wisdom. Whew. I think, as often happens for me at the end of these panels, I'm looking at all your faces and I'm feeling what is often my message, which is you are the gift. I mean, you are the gift. And each of you showing up today exactly as who you are and where you are and sharing your wisdom and sharing your truths, it's such a gift. I guess I just want all of you to know that your voices are so important and it really matters. And everywhere you show up really matters. So thank you for being here today. Thank you for how you show up in your own lives for the people that you're going to see next or communicate with next, because it makes all the difference. And thank you to Brian and Deborah for being our amazing authors today. Thank you, Debbie, for organizing us, and Victoria for helping organize us, and Brenda for bringing us all together. Mwah.
And
I'm going to give everybody gold stars for showing up today because you chose yourself.
Brian, you'll zoom in from the road, right?
Oh, yeah. No, I have a lot of fun planned. I'm not going to be on the road for a couple months, but yes, absolutely.
Okay, good.
And why don't you swing through town to town and pick up all of your fellow Mango authors and we'll write one big fat book together.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not opposed to that. Well, I've been to, it just depends on where you live. Put me on the spot like that. Hey.
Yeah, nice one, Kim. Hey, come back.
I think I probably only get about 12 miles per gallon too, so I might need some donations to make it to your destination. But yeah.
Thank you all. Thank you. Please come back again and maybe bring a friend next week, and look forward to seeing you then. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.